This is the first video on impact implementation. We've just done a few videos on impact planning, which you can go back to, but now the assumption is that you have your theory of change, you have your metrics, you know where you're going, and you have some idea how you're going to get there. So now that means that you've actually started to implement your plan. And while I do love the strategic work of impact planning, I am really, really excited about impact implementation because it includes an absolutely critical part of creating social impact, which is adaptation. So let's talk about the core elements of adaptation. So adaptation is basically changing your actions in response to new information about the effectiveness of your current method of achieving your goal. I hope you like the hand signals. There's basically two situations in which you're going to adapt. The first is when you have new information about circumstances, and the second is when you have new information about your own actions. To give you a richer sense of what that means, I'm going to give you an analogy to hiking, because I live in the Pacific Northwest, as you can maybe tell from my outfit, and we do a lot of hiking out here. So, you're in the forest, you're on a beautiful trail, you're going to some beautiful site, you're going to a waterfall, you're going to a lookout, you're going to the peak of a mountain. That's your goal, okay? And you're on this trail, which is your theory of change. It's the path you've selected with your team, right? Which is how we achieve changes, by working with our teams, right? And first you're going to experience new information about a change in circumstance. So what does that mean? Or what could that mean? So first off, one change in circumstance. It starts raining. And you can continue on because the view will still be really pretty. You can stop because the path is likely to be muddy. You can stop because people just don't like hiking in the rain. You can continue because actually you like the rain. So the change in circumstances doesn't dictate your choice. It just indicates that it would make sense for you to consider your previous plan, which was let's hike to this thing based on this change in circumstances. So then the second type of information you can have is about the efficacy of your own actions. So it doesn't necessarily imply that there have been any change in external circumstances. So let's give some examples. So let's say, okay, we have 3 hours to do this hike. We think it's going to take about 2 hours. And you're walking with your team, and you get to a marker on the trail, and you realize you're only going half the speed you thought you were. So you get to decide, okay, do we continue knowing it's going to take a little longer? Do we turn around because we actually don't, maybe we have something else to do and we actually can't let it take longer, or we just don't want it to take longer? So those are the two core contexts of adaptation: that you're getting information about your circumstances or getting new information about yourself. And as a result, you stop and you take stock and you think, should we continue with this plan, or should we change it in some way to ensure that we get to our goal? And here is a case study of adaptation. This is some video from a webinar given by Saley Avalenda of a political group called New Jersey 11th for Change. That was a grassroots civic group that grew up after the election of President Trump. And she is going to talk about her own group's practices of stopping, taking stock, and adaptation when they see changes in their circumstances.
I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record. I really, really, really think it's a good idea for every single group to sit down right now after we've had a kind of a close of something, closing of a period, and reevaluate why you're doing what you're doing. What is your mission? What is your goal? And what are the strategies you are willing to employ to achieve them? We did this January 2017, and then when our representative retired in January 2018, I went back and I pulled everybody in and we said, okay, what the group that started based on these factors is not the same. Who are we today? because we don't have the same antagonist, right? We don't have the same target. Who are we today? And we made adjustments based on that. And now we have a completely different situation. We flipped the district. And those are conversations that to me need to happen after every major event like this, or after, you know, an election cycle, because that will give you a very clear idea for at least the next year what your focus is.
So more to come. Hope that was helpful.